But I'm telling you, this is a great platform for all of us.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUL for life. We are IUL.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Today on One. I'm Isai Sipunga. In the news tonight, down with the leaders, down with the mayor, chant protesters. Family of 12 survives on rotten food. Ruacana constituency councillor encourages livelihoods through farming. Municipality shuts down cemetery cleanup in Amaruru. And Roundup, Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the weather. First up, residents of Achterland marched over 8 kilometers from their neighborhood to the city of Windhoek to hand over a petition to the municipality's administration. The march follows weeks of land grabs, which saw police troops demolish newly built shacks. Leston Voller has more.
We are struggle kids. You always see us in Rogi Crest struggling in the dustbin because we don't have the responsibilities. We don't have houses. We cannot stay until now in our mother's houses. We are struggling for food. There's no work. It's Corona time. We must get houses and take care of ourselves.
Just go and visit the site. You must not sit here on the aircon and sit and have a nice life. Yes. Go out. You will be elected to sit there and serve the residents, not to have a nice life and eat nice as we are suffering.
I just want to ask them, please just give us aid. We have suffered a lot. We don't have land. We don't have land. And there are even there are even small kids that are suffering there. And the pregnant ladies even they are there giving birth at the open area. We don't have land. There is no job due to COVID-19. We have suffered a lot.
As I'm speaking here, we have been sleeping on the soccer field as from the day of the demolition. So we came here to see, and the police yesterday, they were forcing us to go out from the soccer field, otherwise they are going to burn our things because that place is not for us.
I was working, there was a lot of days I was working. If today I'm talking with you, the days were cut it. We don't have enough money. We don't have a place where you can sleep. The renting is too high. We have nothing. So we ask to our councillors and our leaders, please, they can do something about us. We are standing here. If we're coming here, we're not coming to play. We're coming to ask.
I have been applying for since 2004 till now. When I went to those offices and asked where my plot is, those secretaries and all those people, the way they are responding to us or they're responding to me, especially me, I'm not happy with it.
Is that if our countries, the population of our country is very small comparing to the populations of South Africa, and they are not able to, they are failing to serve these populations. How, will the same massacre that happened in South Africa will not take place here in our country?
The landless Ochumise residents, the group spokesperson, claimed that the police brutality was unacceptable and that all the people wanted was a piece of land.
We witness, we can call it barbaric torture and inhuman treatment of our people at the hand of the Namibian police, as well as the city police. And this was done in the presence of their chiefs, respectively. Master Abraham Kanime, as well as the Inspector General. This was done in your presence. And we know the solemn right of these people is to defend, to protect. Not to torture, not to treat people like that, whom the Constitution states that their human dignity shall not be inviolable. Where should we live? Where can we go if we are not at peace in our own country?
The city of Windhoek acknowledged the petition and promised to investigate it and get back to the people.
No, thank you very much for the petition and for all the people that made their way here. We'll look into the petition and then we'll revert back to the leadership, as soon as possible. We have had the 2 days and the 5 days, so we'll be able to engage the leadership on the way forward. So I'll also ensure the petition reaches the CO and then it can be escalated accordingly. Thank you very much.
The people allowed the city leadership 2 working days to visit Astalan and 5 days to reply to the petition's request.
Why do we do it? Cover up, tone down, hide, instead of choosing boldness. Celebrate the skin you're in with Nivea Rich Nourishing. Our triple layered care of deep moisture serum, natural almond oil, and vitamin E enriches your skin for 48 hours. It's time to show off your best skin. Choose to wear your skin with pride every time with Nivea Rich Nourishing.
A family of 12 in the Ochimise informal settlement finds it hard to get by as they survive only on bones and animal fat that they collect from butcheries. Hendrina Canyola has more.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Homeless with no jobs or any other means of income, the family of 12 has nowhere to go and keeps them from harm in a tiny shelter they have set up in an open space.
Dina diore fa kwenda ko skole onjara ta kana vai ko skolombo ponamba putra ramba tapanya vingu ambanda wa skole tupeo ko bantu no skola nashi na bonga kuno hata ningira sengetu badore tukapona putuli anda wetu tutapopo poka hina turaramba titi therapana sheskole angu tutagondora panu utiti kama the officer ongava na vetu ita apiti watu kuna murumini ngwetu fara wakula mangu.
Their neighbor, who is 7 months pregnant, says that she became homeless after her boyfriend abused her for years. She has no family to go to and resorted to living in a tiny tent with little or no food for days.
Hinamara imi gumba endo nje anjo donde uli ngume hepo viungura shiri ke tupa hina viungura uli chano shisha kwa hishavi amo mundu ngumba aka na mamunji muno shapu mamunji muno mehepo mbatero shinene hapo yo bikuria kushahene no kuhupamo mundu orondo kuhupamo mundu shishenje tika bishambe kukaramba okuhupamo mundu kuno vino vingi peke omatokero geke kuyetisa kushavi moso kuliheka ko mundungo moso kunguliro mundungo ngando perebo kushavi mori randa osino shisha ko ehupo ndehena viungura po ehupo ehina shisha murongo monja tuye pasana nondiro ulinji kwa la moka endani kika muna viungura ama mundungu mbehena viungura nungu mbinoka oskolo nditi yongre tena bina mahongero ngandira pangritena hinashungura simbishi muna mosho mwite shishenjeti sa kushavi hinakwene no kufuto hira moyo mushiso corona dego kuria monjonda Orimendu maishuka mbetupuka chao nokusanisa mundungwi ouya chiri simenyingire kushavi arikane munji vatere napo patiti sinene apo viungura oro ndihina kwango kuhupa mundu miango viungura ushambene nokuhupa bili hupite na mwashi wanjengwi shana mbino watena kwanja wasogwe kuhupa mwami ondo ngundo watitishi wali wabanene mai kuhupa mwami imba mbino shinaisha sana mbino hana shewe wali ouya chiri mehepa kushavi munji vatere mbena shimaveke omayo tusogwe kutoskole shimayo kutoskole hanje nanga mbino shiunguro shitituri.
Zachary Itodo, initiator for the No to Gender-Based Death and Violence Initiative, said that the two families are in need of immediate interventions as it's heartbreaking to see people eating rotten food in order to survive.
We got reports and information about the living condition of these two separate families, and we came and we saw what it is like for them. It's really pathetic. Once again, I'm calling on members of the society who are in the position to assist this family. I have drawn the attention of everyone to the plight of people in the society who need our help. But everyone is quite like people that don't have a conscience. It's like some people are happy seeing people in this kind of a situation. You can imagine human beings eating rotten and smelly fats, cow fats, which is already smelly and rotten. That is the only thing they have to eat. It's sad. Yes, I was here with the Minister of Gender and Social Workers today to look at their situation, but it's really appealing. It brought tears into my eyes seeing that this family will have to eat rotten, smelly fats. The children will have to eat that. It's really bad. You imagine a little kid having to eat dirty bone. It's really pathetic.
The families say they have no income at the moment and have given up hope as they have approached the governor and councillors' offices, but they have not received any assistance so far.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Did you know? COVID-19 vaccines may not only prevent you from getting seriously sick. Vaccines allows your body to fight the virus well before an infection occurs. This greatly increases your chances of not getting seriously ill when infected. The government provides COVID-19 vaccines for free, and they are safe for people aged 18 years and older, including those with pre-existing conditions. Remember, it is important to go for both doses of the vaccine to make sure you are fully protected.
So, get vaccinated. Help kick COVID-19 out of Namibia.
This message was brought to you by the Nationhood and National Pride Program in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Social Services.
COVID-19 had a smaller impact on white-collar jobs than it had on blue-collar jobs. However, the epidemic wreaked havoc on many farmers. As the number of available jobs falls, so does the number of people looking for work. Many individuals have been affected by drought as a result of climate change, according to Andreas Shintana, a Rakana constituency councillor. Leston Voller has this report.
Andrea Shintama, a Rukana constituency councillor, stated that many people may still make a livelihood by farming and using microfunding provided by the council to assist their enterprises.
Yes, we are affected by the drought due to the climate change, but then we have people who are coming up with innovations like setting up projects. The agricultural projects that are, producing tomato, onions, green maize, etc. And those people, sometimes we are assisting them through microfinance as a constituency, through the regional council. And for them to be able to have a bread on the table. Due to the COVID-19, they were affected, especially last year when the COVID-19 started March.
Shintama added that the youth should take charge of these projects to produce locally so that they can earn an income and take care of their families.
And as our government have been always advocating that the institutions should start buying or procuring the locally products, and that is what's happening. And we are advocating by saying our people should involved in producing the products so that they were able to help themselves. The support that is coming from the office, I have mentioned already that we assisted them through microfinance. That's the interventions from our government. And especially what I would like to inform or encourage or advise the youth. The youth must organize themselves to come up with projects of this nature in order for them to generate income, for them to be able to have bread on the table. And that is the mostly advice that I would like to give to them. So we are ready to find, to look for the people to assist them in terms of technology or in terms of techniques or experts for them to be able to do the right things.
The Rukana Constituency Councillor vowed to continue assisting farmers and ensure livelihoods don't suffer due to the pandemic.
A voluntary initiative started by the Omaruru residents to clean up the town cemeteries was recently shut down by the town's municipality, stating that it was unsolicited and that there is a program dedicated to the cleaning of cemeteries whose operations were hindered due to the lack of funds. Samantha Poppy has more.
Prince Shinoshua, who is amongst the residents who started the cleaning of the town cemetery, notes that the municipality shutting down the initiative will discourage future volunteerism in the town, adding that the project was necessitated by the dilapidated state of the town cemeteries at the time.
The cleaning of the cemetery, all this time it was never cleaned. And today the tombstones have been damaged by the animals because of the yard is not even a fence or so. But because of the place is dirty, it attracts the animals to come in, and the sacks and all that to hide in that place. So it's why we are cleaning it. That is the reason behind it. This whole time they even see us while we're doing, because the only problem that we were doing, it is just we were posting the pictures that we cleaned, so that all the sponsors that had given us something, so that they can see what we are doing. I handed the letters to him on the 13th of April, telling him that on the 1st of May, we are going to start the program. I even handed personally to the municipality. On the 1st of May, we started cleaning. And because we did not hear any response from them, is when I asked them, I think that was in July and June, is when I asked them. The response that I got, this is the letter that he gave me. Now I do not know which of unauthorized he's talking about. While I personally handed the letter into him, and I even talked to the mayor.
The municipality's chief executive officer in response stated that the work of the residents was halted because the municipality has a dedicated program that has already begun to the maintenance of the cemeteries, adding that operations start after the rainy season, depending on funding availability.
The municipality is a public entity subjected to the Procurement Act 15 of 2015, where unsolicited services are not entertained. It is responsible for cemeteries in town. This gentleman it was explained to him that we are having our own dedicated program, which does start after the rainy season, provided there are funds available from the previous year. This council has appointed casual and permanent staff that are taking care of the cemeteries. And this was put crystal clear to the gentleman that his services is not only not welcome, he's interfering in the operations of the council. And this was explained to him. That's why we gave him that letter, that the council appreciates, and we, at this point in time, we are running at full throttle, clean the cemeteries in line with the laid-down programs.
Over 200 residents of the town on the 1st of May this year took it upon themselves to clean the town's Odonje, Old Location, Renish Mission and Omaruru cemeteries on Saturdays.
This week on It's a Wrap.
Before election, the president was apparently coming to inaugurate those houses. As we speak, those houses were inaugurated, but they are incomplete. There's no water, there's no electricity, as we speak. So we don't understand what is really happening, but let me just say, me as an activist, I understand what is happening, but people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand, especially those that are at Baroloka. It was all political campaign. For a few people that think they are powerful, the powerful politicians that were in power at that time, they made it as they made Baroloka like a political field, so that they can play their politics, and started even chasing people, legitimate people that have been staying there.
I am a person that will never support corruption in any way. And where there is evidence of corruption, those that are involved in corruption, they must be dealt with whatever way comes.
Don't miss this week's episode of It's a Wrap, only on One Africa TV.
In other leading stories, the Namibia Students Financial Assistance Fund, in a media statement, noted that the fund is inundated with queries regarding the payments of both tuition and non-tuition fees. The fund notes that it experienced a system glitch which resulted in no payments processed since Friday last week, adding that payments will resume as from today. Payments will continue until all continuing students are paid for the 2021 academic year. It further noted that payment processing for fourth-year students who did not receive their money is being prioritized. The NASFAF urges 2021 new intakes to continue to download, sign and upload their contracts. Payments for new intakes will commence as soon as students have signed their contracts, obtained bank cards and invoices are received from their respective institutions of higher learning. And Dubox, in collaboration with Beta Gold Namibia, launched the Dubox Dump Starter Incubation Program with the objective of supporting talented Namibian entrepreneurs for investment and growth readiness. This initiative brings together passionate and driven startups that are committed to taking their business ventures to the next level. The participants of the program will get the opportunity to receive extensive business development, incubation and mentorship support to help them grow their businesses as well as achieve investment readiness. The incubation program offers a progressive financial model to teach entrepreneurs how to do financial planning and manage their money effectively. Moreover, the program consists of different phases aimed at developing startups according to the phase they are in. Startups from all sectors are welcome to hand in the application. The aim of the program is to identify, promote and mentor businesses, especially during an economically challenging time.
Man, you can't be anything. You should
to be everything. Strength provider, the architect of every ring. Experience penny years, see the face of God and live.
I pray to God for my enemies.
Why your lady, why your baby, why baby? Insta baby, Insta baby, Insta baby. Why you lying?
Shake what your mama gave ya. Everybody move what your mama gave ya. Everybody shake what your mama gave ya. Everybody move, yeah, lost, fuck.
You are now watching the V10 Countdown.
Joseph Shifeni is standing by for today's edition of Business on One and Economic Indicators.
Welcome to Business on One. I'm your host, Joseph Shifeni. The private sector, represented by the Namibia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the NCCI, engaged the government at State House today. At the occasion, the NCCI emphasized that the small and medium business sector is depleting and that mid to long-term support measures are also needed to assist businesses to weather the current economic hardships. Kenkop said both sectors need to cooperate as stakeholders during the crisis for the good of the economy. The president of the NCCI, BC Urab, led a number of captains of industry as they briefed the head of state on issues affecting businesses. The NCCI said that strengthening relations with government and influencing policy direction is key in ensuring that the environment becomes conducive for doing business and for stimulating economic growth.
We thus have rededicated ourselves to give special attention to the depleting SME sector, as we believe they are the pillars and cornerstone of our economy. The Namibian government has been quite responsive to introduce practical, immediate measures to assist the business sector to weather the current economic turmoil. However, mid to long-term support measures that address the key hurdles barring the re-emergence of a vibrant SME sector also needs to be considered. So what we ask from the government is to collaborate more effectively with the private sector in our nation's economic development as a national cause. When we all suffered with the crisis that jeopardized public order and security, it is the private sector that is being called upon to contribute to this national cause of combating the pandemic. The government and the private sector agreed that there was a need for all of us to cooperate and work closely to overcome this national challenge that has been facing the nation. Fortunately, we were able to do this, and there can be no better example than the excellent contributions by the private sector through the NCCI-led private sector COVID-19 response initiative in working together with the government towards national stabilization. And in this regard, we have been working very closely with Honorable Changula and his team to have our interventions realized there.
In response, President Kenkop said that the government and the private sector share the same goals for the country, and cooperation between the two sectors is crucial for economic development and prosperity for all.
And definitely what we have just outlined, there are more that others have done. I'm also quite what you call by this drive-in vaccination facility. That's so, it makes life so easy just to come and sit in your car, do that. So that's very clear that private sector and the government are cooperating in this crisis. Well, don't let the good crisis go wasted. So therefore we can use this crisis that has now put us together as Namibians and move forward, as you are saying, to hold hands. You see, to build Namibian house, I talk about that. It is now a big thing. Everybody talks about the house, all kinds of things. But that's what the leader has to dream. Dream about ideas, dream about all kinds of things. And my people can implement. by saying this cannot work and this can work and so on. That's what we work. That's how you're supposed to work as a state. The state is basically having the same views as yours. We have our assets, we have our liabilities. We want to also have a bottom line, but they differ. Our assets, our people there are outside, but they have liabilities, they're hungry, they have poverty and so on. And whereas your bottom line is that of making profit, our bottom line is that of keeping peace, unity, infrastructure development and so on.
One of the main concerns raised by members present was assurity and commitment from the government. The NCCI also recommended the establishment of a committee that will advocate for policy enhancement and further strengthen stakeholder relations. Thank you for watching. Join me again tomorrow and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
We are molded with the utmost intricacy, unique and ever-evolving. But we will always need a guiding hand.
Are you a CMS member? With HospiCash 100, you can get up to 100,000 Namibian dollars cover with a 30,000 limit per event from as little as 100 Namibian dollars a month. We understand that being in hospital can be stressful. That is why with HospiCash 100, you can cover your non-medical expenses by receiving cash payouts when you are in hospital, so you can recover stress-free. Interested? SMS your name and HospiCash to 555 and we will call you back.
Time now for Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from the hottest social media pages. A couple in Wolfish Bay is in distress after learning that one of their late twins, who they had prepared to bury, was cremated without their consent by a volunteer mortuary assistant. According to the couple, the mortuary assistant, after resuming work from her leave, did not carry out the paperwork and mistakenly cremated their baby. The couple says they only learned about this incident after the funeral services went to collect the remains at the hospital for burial. Otti says it is a super sensitive matter, adding that human errors happen as no one is perfect. Etuna says it's not easy to accept it as it takes time. Blesley says such an error cannot be taken lightly. Ndahafa says it's total negligence. Martin says it's carelessness, adding that people at state hospitals are used to this kind of don't care behavior. And that's all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day, only on Today on One.
Early this morning, woke up holding my head, hearing my heartbeat all night long. Shades of this motel keeping me in bed, reading the news, just trying to stay strong. I need to just get up, take a deep breath, keep it together, 'cause it's a beautiful day. Sun on my face, feeling okay. Don't let it get away. It's a beautiful day. Feel so proud, screaming out loud. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. Feel so proud, screaming out loud. It's a beautiful day.
Time now for today's sports update with Castro Ulumbu.
Welcome and thank you for joining me, Castro Ulumbu, for this edition of Sports on One. The Brave Warriors interim head coach recently called up a 32-man provisional squad to join the camp for the upcoming FIFA Qatar World Cup Africa Qualifier Games, with English-based defender Ryan Nyambe and national team captain Petro Chitembi notable missiles from the squad. The two qualifiers will be played on the 2nd and on the 5th of September 2021. Today on One Sports has more on this story. Brave Warriors interim head coach Bobby Samaria has been publicly criticized for the selection choice of his squad players ever since his appointment at the helm. Announcing the provisional squad for the training camp, Samaria defended his selections, stating that he can't plan for the future without being appointed as the permanent coach of the senior team, adding that he is tasked to get results rather than build a squad. He also explains the reason for two key star omissions from the squad.
You will notice that we have omitted Ryan Nyambe from the team, as well as Pietra Chitembi. Pietra Chitembi sadly had an operation on his knee and has been out for almost 9 weeks now already. He will only return to training towards the end of September. Ryan sadly sustained a hamstring injury during training last week, so he'll be out for 3 weeks. That is Nyambe, hence the duo's absence. Any organization must have a path and be forward thinking. Closer to home, those under 20 players, how many of those players are playing for their clubs in the Premier League? You first start there. Secondly, we have a player like Prince Ueda, who was very, very outstanding. He's included in the team. With respect to the aging team, you will notice that the average age of this team is 28, 29, the oldest player being 32, being goalkeepers also. Now, obviously, it's important to develop younger guys, but at the same time, since it's a national team, you are not judged at developing a team. You're just at performance. So you need to find a balance in the two. Now you'll agree with me that if it's an interim job, you do not have a long-term plan. Once there's a substantive coach, then only with those questions that you just posed to me come into the fore. Because by then, the coach need to prepare or present a strategic plan as to how he will improve and develop the national team.
The Brave Warriors are playing their home games in neighboring South Africa as the Confederation of African Football CAF banned games at national stadiums in Namibia due to unsafe infrastructure. Samaria said that going into the qualifier games, playing away from home will not have any effect on the players.
We envisage to travel to South Africa on either the 25th or on Heroes Day 26. And most of the professionals are still playing on 25. So we envisage to have a full complement of players by the 27th. We'll be based in Johannesburg. It's now an open secret that our home games will be played at the Orlando Stadium. I think with respect to the home ground advantage, luckily with COVID-19 protocols in place, spectators are not allowed. And you know, normally when you play at home, your 12th man is always your spectators. But since the outbreak in March 2020, it has not been the case for us to be allowed to have spectators. So it will not have a major impact on the team. However, I think the bulk of our professional players are based in South Africa. To them, that's a second home away from home. So it might play into our favor as well. Remember, our stadium here was declared unfit, and as a result, we had to move our home games to the neighboring country. Being our first game, we are not oblivious that they are playing Senegal. So when we play Congo this side, Senegal will play Togo on the other side. So for us, it's important to get off on a winning note. It is a very tough group, but if you look at the ranking, I think Brazzaville is ranked what now? 93 and 131 for Togo. So since we are playing Brazzaville first, the belief is there that we can get a good result, no doubt. The same goes with our opponents against Togo.
The Brave Warriors are drawn in Group H with Senegal, Congo-Brazzaville and Togo. Their first game will be against Congo on the 2nd of September and against Togo away 3 days later on the 5th of September. And that is all we have for you tonight. Join us again tomorrow for Sports on One, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Thank you, Castro, for that update. Now let's look at the weather forecast.
A look at the weather forecast. The Namibia interior very cold at first over the Klaras, Hartap and Amaheke regions. Otherwise sunny and mild to warm but hot in the north and east. It will be windy over the interior. The coast partly cloudy and cold to mild, and the wind light to fresh southwesterly. Now we look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
We have come to the end of tonight's edition of Today on One. Catch a repeat tonight at 9:30, 6 a.m. tomorrow, and the Omnibus Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. From me, Isai Sipunga, and the rest of the team, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are
Catch Namibia's rising talents displaying the best goals, breathtaking saves, like a 1-2 combination on the pitch, as well as the biggest misses. It's the MTC Hop Soul Youth League Soccer Show, showcasing Africa's next soccer superstars. Only on One Africa Television, every Wednesdays at 18:30. Aye, it's Super Disc on another level.
Prevention is important. Help prevent the spread of illness and keep yourself and others well. Hand washing is one of the most effective ways of preventing the spread of germs. Wash your hands regularly with soap and hot water, scrubbing your hands thoroughly for at least 20 seconds. Hand sanitizers can be used but are not recommended as a substitute for hand washing. Use sanitizers in addition to hand washing or in a situation where soap and water are not available. To avoid spreading germs, limit sharing of personal items such as utensils, cups, and dishes. Your skin acts as a barrier to germs, but your eyes, nose, and mouth are more vulnerable. Wash your hands thoroughly before touching your face, eating, or drinking. Avoid physical contact with others, including handshakes, fist bumps, high fives, hugs, and kisses. Social distancing is deliberately increasing the physical space between people to avoid spreading germs. While regulations may vary by country or area, the best guideline for social distancing is to maintain a distance of 6 feet from others. Germs can travel through the air from one person to another. If you sneeze or cough, do so into a tissue or the inside of your elbow to prevent the spread of germs. Avoid contact with ill individuals and insist they isolate themselves until they have recovered and are symptom-free. Clean and sanitize frequently touched common surfaces and high-traffic areas in your home and workplace several times a day. Share these guidelines with others and help prevent the spread of illness and maintain a healthy environment. An ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure.
The coronavirus that causes COVID-19 has changed since the pandemic started. So does this mean the virus has become more dangerous? Scientists have discovered thousands of mutations to the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus. Most mutations only lead to small changes, but scientists believe one, called D614G, may have made it easier for the virus to infect human cells. This mutation most likely emerged after the initial outbreak in China, and it spread fast after the virus arrived in Europe. By the end of June, the D614G mutation was found in almost all samples of the virus worldwide. Scientists believe this is due to amino acid changes in the virus's spike proteins, improving its ability to infect human cells. Some studies have found more spikes on viruses with this mutation. These spikes latch onto receptors on the surface of our cells. They then transfer the virus's genetic material, called RNA, inside. Being inside the host cell allows the virus to make many copies of itself. Random errors sometimes happen in the copying process, which cause mutations. Although the full effects of D614G are still unclear, some studies suggest that the mutated virus might be more transmissible than the original. This could mean more people getting sick and at a faster rate. Despite this, there isn't any evidence that the disease itself has become more severe. Scientists are worried about mutations possibly increasing the risk of reinfection. Hong Kong reported what could be the first case of virus reinfection on the 24th of August. A healthy man in his 30s is thought to have caught the virus again 4.5 months after he first got sick. During this time, mutations developed and new variants of the virus emerged. Some experts believe these changes may have made reinfections more likely. Mutations are common over the course of a pandemic. New flu vaccines are needed every winter to keep up with genetic changes to the flu virus. If a coronavirus vaccine is found, it could require regular booster jabs. Mutations won't happen overnight, and the coronavirus is mutating slower than the flu virus. but it's important for scientists to keep a close eye on how the virus changes over time. Could we be hearing more about other mutations in the future?
Mama! Go away!
Sy het nog steeds abandonment issues.
Is moontlik.
Maar al ons moeite met die sprokies. Ek probeer so hard om my kind gelukkig te maak, maar ek kry dit nie reg nie.
Probeer net help, dis al.
Jy doen niks sonder bymotiewe nie.
So jy hou van die tattoo?
Nee. Maar jy kan nie liefde koop nie. En beslis nie myne nie.
Jy regular.
Am I that predictable?
Jy is 'n gereelde klant en ons net soveel maniere om koffie te drink.
How do you like your coffee?
Gewoonlik swart sonder suiker.
Does black and bitter only pertain to your coffee preference?
Ek hou maar net van my koffie sonder melk.
Hoe gaan dit op bal raak slaan na 2 glase wyn?
That was part of my plan.
Wat? Om haar tipsy te maak sodat jy kan wen.
I'm terrible at papa.
We know the world is a crazy place right now, but don't panic. Take a breath. Slow down. Or better yet, stop completely. We'll still be here when everything settles down. In this time of uncertainty, look to nature. She has all the answers, you know. Give ourselves time to reset. We're giving nature time to restore, revive, restart. We're saving ourselves and we're saving the world. Stay home now so that we can welcome you to Namibia again soon. Yes, the world's a crazy place right now, but don't despair. Find the joy. Cherish hope. Breathe. Take a moment. Take a few. And someday soon you'll once again be able to stare in wonder at this magnificent view. The world's a crazy place right now, but don't worry, we'll still be here. We'll see you again soon.
Now in its 6th year, the Syrian conflict has impacted heavily on the most vulnerable. More than 2 million children were forced to leave their homes. After 3 weeks at Idemeni, a waterlogged camp in northern Greece, Mohammed Al-Khalil and his family of 4 are desperate to relocate.
حياة صعبة هون، خيم ومطر وبرد وحمام ما في وأمراض ونحن بكل الأحوال ندور مكان يعني آمن فلقينا المنظمة هاي الأمم المتحدة حل بالنسبة لنا، لأن احنا ندور الأمان وندور مشان أطفالنا مشان ننسى الأيام اللي مرت علينا ونتأمل إن شاء الله خير يعني.
But for single mothers like Nisreen Chico, who is stuck at the border shared by Greece and the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, the wait has led to desperation. Her husband was killed by a bomb in Aleppo 3 years ago. These days, she's consumed with protecting her 5 children.
حاسة إنه كثير صعب أنا أولادي نعيش هون. ما فيني أتحمل ما في يعني صار لي 10 أيام هون ولا يوم نمت برياحة. هن بيناموا أنا لا.
Nisreen is not alone. Narin worries about her 2-month-old baby, Delberin, who has contracted a lung infection. She's unsure whether he'll survive.
في معه مرض فيروس، في معه التهابات ما بعرف حرارة، في معه سهل تراجع. خدنا على المستشفى صار 14 هون أنا. بارحة جيت على أساس ما في شيء، جيت لهون كمان نفس الشيء. أولادي كمان هذول كلهم مرضانين.
UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, is providing shelter for the thousands of children and their families trapped here. But it's not enough.
A lot of families with young children have spent weeks, night after night, in the rain, in the cold, under the open sky. The small tents that they have had are not good. It's not proper shelter.
Keeping the children warm is a priority. The refugees burn anything in sight just to keep the cold away and avoid hypothermia. Meanwhile, back in the camp at Idemeni, Mohammed, his family and other refugees make the journey to a nearby hotel, the first stop in the relocation process. For this family, at least, the possibility of a new life is beginning. But unfortunately, for far too many others, life has become hopeless. And as long as the brutal war in Syria goes on, it's unlikely that any of these children will see their birthplace in the foreseeable future. This report was produced by Mary Ferreira for the United Nations.